Hey, good morning, guys. This is Ken and Kyun. This is the coaching session for uh, cohort 3, May 27th, 2024. Morning, sir. Memorial Day.
Yes.
Lifting a glass for all the guys and gals that gave the last full measure of devotion. So cool.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, man. What we got?
All right. So let me just take you through just 1 second, and I'll share with you. I just need to open that. So I got something to write on. Let me share with you. Share the screen. This one. And you can see the sidebar, so feel free if you
Got it.
want to jump in anywhere, just let me know like you did yesterday. So I'll actually start I'll start with the rule set just to remind you what you gave me and what the kind of evolution is and where I'm at. So this was the rule set that you gave me, rule set B. Basically is to enter the pizza flip. I put in that wait for bar to close, but and that changes the change. And then there's only two exits. One is at the trailing pizza stop.
Yeah.
And the other one is at the spine of the dragon when the RL10 has turned down.
Yeah.
And initially, both rules applied at all times, whether the bar had gone out the wrist box and it didn't, or whether it's outside the wrist box. And also we were allowed an NL no lose plus dinner for 2.
Yeah.
It's kind of discretionary. I think you said, when you feel like it, but so generally I would try and have some basis for doing that, and tinker around with that. And then there's no re-entry on one pizza trend. So that was initially the rule that you gave me.
Yeah.
And it's B because actually I think I didn't rewatch the recording. I didn't know what exactly the rule was, so I started with rule set A up here. Which the difference is that within the wrist box, I only used one
just
exit.
pizza,
yeah, just a pizza, and then when it's outside, I applied both of those, and that's not discretionary, so either one of those have to apply. And then no lose plus dinner for 2. I just made my own.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I know, so I don't have to think about the stuff all the time. So it's one pizza box, and yeah, I kept that. Okay, so and then it generally evolved as I don't know whether to show you the results or to talk you through this first, but I kind of changed one parameter at a time at first. So for example, from rule set A, so I did 30 of those, and then I thought, well, I recorded all the results and analyzed them, and then I realized that so here I waited for the bar to close.
After it flipped.
After it flipped, yeah.
Okay. So the second bar,
yeah, almost at the close of the first bar, almost, or the start of the second bar, depending on how quick I was. And then I was getting fed up because
I know why. It moves. It already moved.
It's already moved. And then I'm getting stuffed with this, and so I said, okay, let's try this.
That's the most frustrating. As simple as it sounds, it's harder than it sounds.
Yeah, exactly. So there's all this evolution that I did. Then I said, as soon as it prints or as soon as I judge that it won't unflip, right? Because sometimes you go in and then it unflips back and you think, okay, that trade is dead and you can't do anything. I mean, you make a loss or something like that, So anyway, so then I changed that, and what did I then I moved to another one. Okay, which is per the rule 1 and a modification to I stop 2. So I stop 2 basically is
you can't really use the spine of the dragon if it right from the open if it's inside the wrist box, and it has to be because the PSAR flips and the dragon is between the PSAR and the price.
Yes.
So it gets you get chopped out of that. so fast.
Yeah, you can, and I thought, well, okay, I've had instances where I didn't do that,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So and then I said, okay, maybe I will use exit two, which I'm sorry, the spine exit.
yeah,
If at least if it has gone out of the wrist box and it
yeah.
has closed
And that's
one
where
part.
rule set B fixes that, because it says wait till the RL10 uh slope goes negative. Then
Yeah,
jump.
but it does. It also can go negative and goes back inside the wrist box and as well. So I
Yeah,
guess
but
you then
but if
so
you yeah, but then you probably want to. Well,
yes.
anyway,
Yeah, exactly, Ken. So there are all these scenarios that
yeah.
actually plays out
Well, another
and
one. Here's a wait 5 bars.
yeah, and that's another one. Okay. This
Yeah,
is this is what I'm having this session for, just to get
yeah,
ideas of what
and
to do.
and this is also why, what I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about the Wu-Wei exit.
Right. Yeah.
The Wu-Wei exit solves that problem a lot,
Okay. All right. Ken.
because because it makes you leave the 1R stop in place
Yeah.
until the PSAR leaves the wrist box
Yeah.
for 3 dots.
Okay.
You know. Anyway, I'll show you that one later. I want
Okay, yeah, sure, sure.
to.
And whatever I try to do is there's always a scenario that that
Yeah,
breaks the rules and
that's
then
right.
it
Yeah,
gets you out and
yeah.
you get
It
lost.
really is. It really gets to be that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And then finally, I came to rule set C, which is still rule set, which is similar to rule set A one
yep,
two,
yep.
but I
Got
just
it.
introduced reentry because I had very legitimate like closing of profitable trades at the
Yeah,
spine, and then it would rerun, and I would just sit there like a lemon. And sometimes they are quite big
yeah,
runs.
yeah. And that one probably that's gonna resonate strongly with the Wu-Wei exit,
Okay,
because the Wu-Wei exit probably never got out of that trade.
right, yeah,
Uh, and it just gives it time to leave the station.
okay,
Um, but yeah, the yeah, and I know that there are enough times when once it finally gets going, it goes, because it happened enough in your experience that you needed a reentry rule just to keep your sanity. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that's right, yeah. But it's been challenging, and I'll show you because this the GBP USD initially.
Yeah.
Let me not jump ahead. I'll show you the
Yeah.
results, and then we can talk about that. So anyway, I'm where I am now, which is rule set C, and of course you get, and these are the days when the GBP, the reentry actually doesn't move and it goes and it reverses.
And that'll also be the case.
Yeah,
No
and
matter
then
what rule set you have, there will be the market will find the time
yeah,
that it doesn't, the
that's right.
shortcoming. It'll find your trade-off.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I am, and I'm kind of trying to not change too many things
Yeah.
at one
Yeah.
time.
So let me
I would
see.
change.
Reentry equals when stopped out with 1 or 2, but the PSR doesn't flip, caught a 2. Which says really, yeah, the original PSAR flip turns out to have persistence. Yeah.
Correct, correct.
Top
So
various
it's
trail
like a
spine. Okay,
wiggle
got it.
almost.
And reentry. Yeah, okay. And yeah. Yeah, and I like the universal.
Yeah.
I mean, who needs it? Who needs it?
You can make a lot of money, but you can
Yeah, but
get
you
your
gotta be
butt
a
kicked.
you gotta be a young person and love it.
Yeah. I tried that once. I tried, okay, I said it's time, maybe I just try it. It always
Yeah,
tends to be, on and when the pizza has already moved, has already flipped, for
yeah,
example, 3 dots, and 80%, 90% of the time it will go in that direction, but
yeah,
sometimes it doesn't. And the
yeah,
one time you tried it, I tried it and
yeah,
it didn't, you know. So
for
anyway,
sure.
so that's the rule set. So I've
Okay.
reacquainted you.
Yep.
So I
Got it.
started, I didn't do a lot of fancy graphs, but you can work out what it is. So I started off in December with this, and I traded basically like the whole 8 hours a day. But
Yeah.
I start at my morning time. And it was okay. It was doing some decent trades and but slowly recently, oh, okay, in March I got sick and I didn't really trade. So in March there was kind of a gap, but
Yeah.
like I restarted maybe mid-April, and
Yeah.
you can just see this is the dollars, but I'll talk you through all the what the different R's are as well. And it's just been losses after losses, and I was feeling it was really tough to trade, so
Yeah.
that's why I reached out to you. I mean, I wanted to reach out earlier anyway,
Yeah.
but I
So,
thought, okay, I
is
probably should.
is this 5 minute chart, or what was remind me what was the time?
Oh, sorry.
What is the time window on, or the candles or the bars?
Oh, 3 minutes, three
3 minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, three
Okay.
minutes. And it might not be the what I want to trade. I don't know.
Yeah. We
Know.
may end up wanting to go to 5 minutes on it because Luke is having and Brian are using 5 minutes
Yeah, that's
with
fine for
peace
me.
flips.
I feel
Yeah.
that 3 minutes is a bit too quick for me
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. I think it's because of I think Forex.
Yeah.
You can afford to go slower on it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's better. Recently, I found,
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah.
know if I have an example, is that if you follow the rules of the 3 minute, it gets you in and out a lot. But if
Yeah.
you go 30 minute, you're this one smooth ride and you don't do anything.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge.
Yeah. I think it's somewhere between 5 and 30 is the right number.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
Okay.
looked at 15s before.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see some.
Okay. So
All
let me
right.
quickly maybe talk you through the different R's that I've got here. So
Yeah.
at the research weekend, you told me that let me show you a chart. This is probably easiest to see. So that I've recorded with different types of R's, and I'll explain
Hmm.
what they are. So um, the rule you gave me was, so if I entered here, the piece are flipped, and that was the
Yeah.
entry.
Yeah.
So there were two risk boxes. One is this entry to the PISA dot
Yeah.
here, which is the yellow box, and there's also the PISA flip box, which is that orange one down here.
Yeah.
And you told me to, or the way I interpreted it was when to record this is if it was a loss, I record it against this yellow box, and if it was a gain, I recorded it against the PISA. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's correct, but
Let me
but
think. Let me think of this. If that's how I said it. Yeah, but yeah, when I'm saying that, my vision on that was always to be a little more strict on the entry. Let me annotate. Stand by. My vision was kind of always hitting the entry here with the I
right,
and
yeah,
sort of what I've been settling on was you got the PSAR dots there. That's the PSAR dot -1,
yeah,
-2, -3, -4. And so the live bar, this might have been something like this. The live bar is this one. So it hasn't closed yet. So the PSAR dot hasn't printed yet.
yes,
And the RL10 is usually lagging that a little bit, something like that. And then I have been thinking that the PSAR dot -1 is where the entry should be made.
yes, and yeah,
Because
there is
what
definitely a case for that.
yeah, what that will do is it precludes all of that. Well, while this bar is live, um, the RL10 is flickering. You know, it, it's it hasn't printed yet, so
No, that's right.
you don't know where the yeah. So this is probably where that PSAR dot is going to print once that bar finishes once it closes.
Yep.
And then the PSAR then the RL10 may or may not go through that. What causes the PSAR dot to flip is when the RL10
Hits the dot.
hits the dot.
Yeah.
Then and only then. And so that flips, that once this bar finishes, then the PSAR dot will flip wherever it's going to flip. I don't, that's probably not exactly where it flips, but
Yeah.
it
I know.
flips,
Yeah.
it flips there. And meanwhile, price may have
Yeah.
gone through that,
Yeah.
and now it's up and running.
Yeah.
And the first moves when they work are always on, off it goes. And so it's going to close here, and then it opens here and it goes here. So now you went, as soon as this thing closes and that dot flips, now you have prices up in here.
Yeah.
And now if you wait for that to print, you're getting entries up in here like this one.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Or this one down here, exactly.
yeah.
This doesn't run a lot, but in Forex, I don't know whether
Yeah. So this is where, I want to enter on this one. And I'm basically saying, look, the PSAR dot -1 solves that problem a lot, right? Because that thing has printed, and this thing is moving around, and then if it blasts through the previous established PSAR dot, I can enter right here.
Yeah. On
And then
PSAR dot -1.
yeah, PSAR dot -1. And then the only thing that you ever miss is whatever that final this little section in here between where this dot hits.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I totally understand,
But
Ken,
yeah,
because I've seen
but
so
you
many
actually
instances.
don't miss it. You're not missing it because on the really good ones, Price has already left that one behind, and you'll never get that entry. So I like this one. See how nice and orderly this is.
Yeah.
And this is, and Price is just doing this, and then it went bang, bang.
Yeah.
So I like getting the PSAR dot -1.
Okay.
Now, it was with that in mind that I was saying the two risk boxes.
Yeah.
The first one was the strict PSAR to PSAR dot. Now, that turns out to be the actual execution risk because you're going to put your stop for execution right there. And you're going to take that with price.
Yeah.
And then what I like is I like to make that ×3. So that this is a minus 0.3 loss. And use this one for position sizing. And then I have to have 1, 2. So I got to have 2 of those the position sizing boxes. I got to have 1 and 2 of those available. And it's kind of uncanny how that fits.
Yeah.
So this is one, this PSAR -1 is one way to do it. What that lets you do is use this is always the PSAR, so if I'm going this way, if I get in here, this is my execution risk right here. I like to set that for my own sanity. I like to set that equal to minus 0.3 position sizing risk.
Okay.
meaning that I use that for um, position sizing. Another way to say that, and then I have to have two of those available. On the intraday, you're always going to have two are available. I mean, because of range stat moves and all that. Another way to just look at that is to say, I got to have about 5 of these PSAR boxes. Because if you set that equal to 0.3, and then you say the position sizing box is three of those, and then I got to have 2 position sizing boxes for risk to reward. That's equal to 6. So I just round that off to 5. If you're getting 5, like, so on this one, if I say, do I have 5 of those available? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And then if you only get a half move, you're getting 2 of the execution boxes, but you're really holding out for 5. I mean, you're envisioning 5. Is that
Right.
making sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. But yeah, this, to me, the size of this box is sort of a pure expression. That's how much it takes to flip the box. I think now, are you showing this? Are you using the RL10 as the data
Yeah.
for the
Yes.
PSAR?
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm surprised that the box was that big, but that's okay.
No, this is the
That just
start.
means
This
it's
is
adaptive.
Tesla at the start. They always gap, right? Yeah,
Ah,
this is Tesla
ah.
at the start. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. So
Well,
this is
I feel stupid.
this is the
I feel.
start, and this
I'm
is
with you.
the morning. When it
I'm
turns
with you.
around. That's why,
I'm with you. Yep.
because that's so big, right? That up
Right.
move is so big,
Yep.
and we can talk about this because this is another question I have. I'm like,
Sure.
what do I do with this? This wrist box is so big. The RL10 for comparison is this gray box here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, the R10, the range 10,
Yeah.
one tenth of the range
And
10.
this is GBP.
No, this is Tesla.
Oh yeah.
I just
Okay.
use
Well,
it.
here's how you solve that. Here's how you
Yeah,
solve that.
yeah,
If this is my high of the day, right?
yeah.
And my question is, how far down can it reasonably go? What's the answer?
One range stat.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And whoops, range stat. And the size of this box compared to a range stat is small.
It is actually.
Yeah, you're going to get, there's probably 5 to 8 of those easily.
Mhm.
And even if you just say, if this fails, where's the first place it's going to find support? Low of the day.
Yeah,
Second one is bottom of the, so that's target 1. That's target 2. I mean, look how good that is.
yeah.
And if it fails
All
through
right.
there, down it goes. Uh, the fact that it couldn't get there tells me this is something I want that short right there with a target here.
When is
So
that? But
anyway, so on the stock symbols, it's the range stat. And after if there's a gap up in the first turn, there's always a huge move available. That the size of this box compared to the range stat is trivial. So I wouldn't worry about that. I just realized now why this one was Okay,
Yeah,
that was actually a gap. So
yeah. It's an
so on
odd
this
one.
one, uh here's how I play that one. If it's a big, I'm gonna be short if it violates below that, no matter what. But if my art, if this was a, was it a big gap?
Well, let's see your gap. The little thing, the little stat box down there, the gap ratio is 0.381.
That's
I
this
can't
one.
remember. So that's not got any color on it. I know I colored it if it was bigger than the average gap. So
Where
it's not.
did I highlight the right box? Is that this?
Mm, that's the R10. If you
Okay.
go to the border
Oh, I
middle,
okay, I see it.
there's a stat
Is it
table
this?
there. Can you see the stat table here? This one?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's it's
Yeah.
not box, but just in the number. So
Yeah,
it
well,
tells
here's what
me,
I would say. I just
yeah,
by inspection, I would say that's gonna be a big gap.
right. Yeah,
And really because it gapped above this.
yeah,
That was the price yesterday where it reversed.
yeah.
And it already gapped above that. So there's new information. So on big gaps, I like to use the here's the open and R10.
Okay. So I could have put that R10 box
Yeah.
right in there instead of using the yellow box.
Well, this is for execution. I mean, now this is still a good box because what that the size of that box tells you is this is all tactical space anyway.
Yeah,
That's that's just that's about the gap. Is it going to close the gap and then reverse? Because it could go here and it could turn anywhere inside here and go, and it wouldn't be surprising. The price that gives you new information that this thing is going down is this line,
yeah.
which comes back to also here. That's a really important price level. So if it goes here, I might give me the first breakout and on big gaps, I like this. Long or short because there's probably two to here.
Uh-huh.
That's if it's a small gap, then that means price did something like this and closed here. And then the next day, it's a small gap inside here. Now, all I have to do is wait and see. Okay, here's the PSAR. I can wait for the PSAR dot continuation because it's like a continuous signal.
Yes,
But this
yes.
one
Okay,
is not a
yes.
continuous signal. It broke the chain. And the bigger the gap, the bigger the follow through. So I want to have this little bracket and ready to go right away. So I'm short here or long there.
Okay, so that's on a big gap. It's
Yeah,
a
big gap. Yeah,
different entry signal as
yeah,
versus the PISA flip. You're not.
yeah.
It's not PISA flip anymore. It's
Yeah. And I actually, if you
okay.
watch cohort two's uh, session from Thursday night, I spent a lot of time with Jay on that one because he only trades SPX
Okay.
and he's trading like 1 or 3 minute bars and he needs to be able to go right away. So there's two cases.
Okay. I
Yeah.
can.
And it's
Yep.
like big gap, small gap. This one is the R10 R10 breakout. And this one is just PSAR flip. in the usual way because it's a continuous signal.
Right.
Yeah. So there's price. Here's the open. If it gaps outside of the threshold for a big gap, then it's this quick break, because those are gaps up here. Those are going to be the ones that are big moves or big moves. This is the one that's most likely to be a range stat day because the big gap predicts a big move. And we want to be ready on that one right away. But if it's just an orderly open, then I'm going to wait for the PSAR flip in
Yeah.
the usual way.
Okay. All right, that's great. So Tesla is my like secondary thing for me to
Yeah.
test. So I know what like a stop feels like. And what I've been doing is really to, I'll just go on the piece. I use the same rule set. If the piece are flip,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to follow that. You've given me new things to look at, but that was what I was doing
Yeah.
with Tesla. So, just to tell you. Yeah. Okay, great. So I've got all these definitions.
Yeah.
So
Hey, while
anyway,
we're here,
yeah, sure.
just let me just when okay, so let's say we do get along there. When the RL10 dot or RL10 slope is going up, it's legitimate to have the stop following the PSAR. When that thing rolls over, we're calling this the jump stop. What I've been doing on the nightly podcast is going to the skin of the dragon,
Yeah,
meaning I would have gotten out here, but
yeah,
I don't think there's that much difference between that and the spine of the dragon. So we're
yeah.
calling that the jump stop. And then just what that does is accelerates, it takes the upper path instead of this one.
Yep.
Instead of getting out here, you end up probably getting out here. And that little
Yeah,
bit,
and that's one of the things I wanted to
that little extra bit is good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's helpful.
Totally, man. I
Yeah,
mean, it doesn't look like it here, but when
but
you
boy,
get
it sure does. Now, here's
yeah,
the other thing that it does.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, when the R10 flips, it's going to give you 1, 2, 3, or 4, 4 bars in a row before it can flip.
yeah.
And those turning points turn out to be kind of decisive. So think about it this way. So I got a nice long trade going. And while that's going on, my stop is doing this. And as soon as that event happens, I'm for me, I'm just taking the skin of the dragon
Yep. Yep.
or the spine of the dragon. I actually like the skin because why not? The theory behind that is that this is the boundary for all of this uh, upside move. This is the region of improvement, of accelerated buying. But when that rolls over, this sets the threshold. That's actually the first alert of a downward move because you're no longer, this is when everything is good. Now we're in a zero state until the PSAR flips again. So this is the neutral zone in the middle. The width of the dragon and the PSAR dots, that's sort of the neutral zone. And I want to probably be short right in here anyway. So having that exit here prepares me to have the short from here.
Yeah.
And that's the top of the dragon or the top of the Pisar,
Yeah.
whatever. You take your pick.
Now that makes a lot of sense, and that's one of my questions because spine or dragon exit all the time. Sometimes you leave a lot on the table.
Yeah, I like the skin of the dragon. That's why he's there.
Yeah.
Don't touch the dragon. And that's price. And that is price.
Yeah, no, that's right. I think I've got another chart somewhere here
Yeah.
that kind of shows
Because
that.
because by the time the RL10 hits the skin, we're in this
Yeah,
bar. We're in this bar already because we're one
yeah,
bar
yeah,
over.
yeah,
And now I get my signal to exit here, but I'm getting filled down here.
yeah. Well,
And
exactly.
and then all you can see is, God dang, look how much I gave back.
Yeah, exactly. That's a
And then
lot. Yeah,
and then that if you're looking at that and you get that realization, you're not in the zero state.
correct.
Like if you could
Totally.
just like if you could just
Yeah,
automatically short, you'd probably be okay. But the reality is that it takes some time to get out of the to get back in the zero state. And that's why I like the alerts. That's why when this thing is working, as soon as that reverses, that skin of the dragon is my exit. Now I'm ready psychologically to go there.
yeah, yeah.
And if you're using the PSAR -1,
Okay,
you're
maybe I'll
gonna
try that as the next.
you're gonna end up getting in right about there. You might even, if you have the charts from the uh, past trades, you might take a look at that and just see what the improvement is. Instead of waiting to see, just check it against the same data set.
Oh yeah, no, I think definitely because that was one of my questions. Let me see if I've got it here. I save all the charts, but sometimes
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
some.
Yeah. If you did that, that's exactly
Yeah,
what I would do.
yeah, yeah. See here, see this one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You
so
got it
see
right
here,
there for sure.
right
For sure.
there. I
Yep.
was I was short. That was the lowest, and then it's going back, and I'm waiting till okay, I'm waiting till the spine. I've chain turn
Yeah.
at 0.6 profit to 0.2, and
Yeah.
that's a lot.
I'll tell you, here's something else. Now, don't do this at home, right? But here's how I'm thinking about it now. This, like on this skin of the drag, when that rolls over, and there's the piece, there's the, I,
Yep.
I'm getting short right there,
Yeah.
and just because the wrist box is so damn small,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
and because of the reentry rule or
Yeah.
the entry rule, I'm going to get long here anyway.
Yeah.
And if I still have this great big fat P risk,
Yeah.
then this is probably only minus 0.1.
Yeah.
And instead of, because I look at it this way, I said, I sort of, I can get short here instead of here, and it's the same P risk, only now it's my actual risk is this or that. So it's
Absolutely.
minus 0.1 or 0.2 or 0.3. So
Yeah.
I take, I've been taking the signal that preserves the gains on an abnormal good move.
Yeah. As the stop and
Yeah,
reverse almost.
it sort of feels like that's where all the guys that made a lot of money are in here.
Yeah.
They're not, they're already out of the trade.
Yeah.
And the only guys that are left are the aggressive other side who want to pound it back to normal, especially in Forex. Or,
Yeah.
I that's how I'm thinking of that. So,
Now that makes a lot of sense. When I've been looking at the charts, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I say, look, if I leave all this till this the spine even,
yeah.
and then sometimes this move is so big, you can see here, it's so
Yeah.
quick.
So
I
it's
mean,
like
that bar is like
I
huge and
almost
boom.
go like if I went from the upside skin of the dragon
Yeah.
to the downside skin of the dragon, that's a pretty good trade.
Oh yeah. Totally. Yeah.
And if you look at it from inside of the other thing to see is just from pointy edge of the RL10 to the pointy edge of the RL10, and I'm only if I can get long there or here, I got to get out there.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that's how I've been.
I might try that then. I might try
That's how
that one.
I've been
I'll add
tweaking
it to
it.
my rule set because I don't want to change too many things at
Right.
one time.
Yeah. But
So
just put that on a 3x5 card and get ready. And especially if you end up going to the 5 minute,
yeah,
5 or the 10 minute, then that's actually a wider move and it's more relaxed.
yeah.
The spine of the dragon splits the difference.
It's okay if it's steady, and there's no.
But I say why not? I mean, just want.
Yeah,
Yeah. This thing had 4 bars to keep going and it didn't.
yeah,
And so here's the VWAP. It didn't go here. Where's it going to go? It's going to go to there.
yeah,
Leg 1, leg 2.
yeah.
Now suddenly that move from here to this test, that's a tradable size, especially if your wrist box is small compared to this big blob.
I
Anyway,
agree
that's
yeah,
something to think about there. Yeah, skin.
definitely. And you see, if this one you entered at the piece of flip, you're way down here.
Right,
Your entry
right,
way
right.
down here, and
Yeah.
then
The
it's
PSAR
really
is when
hard.
you have 100%, you have 100% certainty.
Yeah, but
So I'm going to speculate here instead of here, which means I can actually enter that. That's why the PSAR -1 gives you a price trigger without dispute. And then I would also say, yeah, this one 2 bar low on dragon horns. Yep. 100%.
Okay.
You can always do this. And after I do that, like after I don't even wait till after the PSAR or the RL10 reverses. As soon as I got like a winning trade,
Yeah.
and I have cleared the box. Even
Yes.
as this thing is going up and I feel that little happy feeling in my gut. Hooray. I said, all right, I know what that means. Here's where
Okay.
my here's where
Yeah.
my PSAR trailing box exit is. Here's the
Yeah.
skin of the dragon. There's the spine of the dragon. And here's where the PSAR dot is.
Yeah.
And as soon as that thing starts to wobble, sue me if I put that on.
I
Hey,
know.
because what if you got 3 boxes? What if you got 3 boxes of gains?
Yeah.
You give back one and keep two. Are does that offend you?
Not at
No.
all.
You know, what does that do? That's the same thing as if you were trading this way and you said I'm going to use a PSAR box and I'd be happy if I could get two. Well, you got two and it's working on the third one, but it starts to roll over.
Yeah.
Done. Keep two.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Especially if you say if you know what's my average win? How many R10 boxes is your average win? So I mean, if two if two R10 boxes is around your average win,
That's phenomenal.
why would you think twice about keeping an average win?
Yeah.
You know, that's some of the I want to have a lot more discretion on the exits.
Yeah.
And that's why to me the PSAR -1 for the entry is fine,
Okay.
because imagine you're in this move here and all the way down you're just going PSAR -1. Did it get hit? Did it get hit? Did it get hit? Did it get hit?
Yeah.
Did it get hit? Bang, it got hit when price hit it.
Yeah.
And
And that would probably, yeah.
price will be already on the other side of the dragon. The
Yeah.
dragon is what gives you the buffer.
Yeah.
The dragon turns, and you got that little bit of a buffer down to the PSAR dot for your first exit. And then as soon as you can, get that locked in, then let the PSAR get until this rolls over, skin of the dragon.
Yeah.
And I call that the jump stop. That's what we decided this week that we're going to call that the jump stop. And if you think about that in terms of your histogram, if this is my average win, let me say that this is hopefully this is my 0 line. And here's my -1. So I don't have anything on this side. And then as that thing starts working for you, you're starting to move up the histogram. As soon as you're better than an average win, and do the standard deviation on your wins, just on the wins.
Just on the wins. Okay.
Yeah. So this is going to be your
Oh,
average
yeah.
win,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I had all that. Well,
and this is going to be average +1 SD.
yeah.
So as soon as you're past, here's your break even. So you're past, or you got to your average win, and now you're past your average +1 SD. I don't ever want to let that thing go start sliding back. Once this is the tipping point,
For sure. Definitely.
that's the tipping point. Is here's the 0 line, and there's your average, and there's average +1 SD. As soon as you're on this side of the teeter totter, you want to preserve. Oop, I gotta get the video out of it. Yeah, you want to preserve the abnormal gains. That's why you do the jump stop, because
Mhm.
the R10 rolling over, reversing, says, oh, we're closer to the end of this leg than the beginning. So I'm thinking about preserving gains, but especially if the size of the trade was already past the average and average +1 SD. I'm close to recommending a jump stop as soon as you get past average +1 SD, but I don't want to prematurely cut that off. As long as the slope of the RL10 is favorable, I feel like I can afford a wider the PSAR,
Right.
so I don't cut my losses too soon. But as soon
Yeah.
as I get a signal that the R10 rolled over, I just got a signal. That's not me guessing. That's me
Mm.
observing, right? And it takes the bar has to close for that to happen, because you could get this and then it slows down to here. It hasn't peaked yet, but it's not going up as fast as it was. But then the next bar, if it comes down and closes here, I got evidence that triggers the jump stop and then the skin of the dragon. And then, so that
So you're
evidence,
saying the RL10 is still going up, but the bar has closed, the last bar has closed below or is below the previous the bar -1.
well, if it does that, then it reversed. Because remember, the RL10, it looks like a smooth line, but it's actually it's a point.
Yes.
So it's going up. Now, when I draw that, it draws that as a continuous line, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. I
So,
understand.
so, so there is the black box down here of all the buyers and sellers, which we can't know what's going on inside their head. But that blocks the net result of the dogfight that's going on inside that box is causing price to act, and it's making the RL10 go with that degree of slope. And if nothing changes in the box, then the next dot is going to be here. And the slope is going to be positive. But there's a threshold right here. So instead of printing here, maybe it's decayed enough that it prints here.
Right. Yeah.
And now what does that look like? Well, it looks like
Slowing down.
now it's slowing down instead of doing this.
Yeah.
It's now doing that, but it's still positive. It's
Yeah.
not negative until that price had to decay enough that the RL10 dot prints down here. And now the slope looks like this. So this first one is if it continues unabated. This one is if it's starting to roll over. And this one, it actually reverses. Like here's an example. If it was going to go at the same rate, it would do this, but it didn't. It did that. The next one was here, and all you're doing is you're comparing it to the last dot. So if in some ways, if I could make if I could make the RL10 instead of a line, but just the dots like the PSAR dot, this is what that would look like.
Yeah.
It would do this. And then instead of printing north of this line, it prints south of that line. There you are.
Yeah.
In fact, the last thought experiment while you're here,
Okay.
you get some time. The thought experiment I told the boys was this. I said, so you got 10 dots on the RL10, and when the price closes, it prints this, it calculates, it drops off the 11th dot, calculates all 10 of the closing prices, draws the regression line, and then prints this dot. All right, well, I know that. Now the new price is open, right? And now in this open price bar, price could be anywhere in that range, right? And I don't know where the new dot is going to be drawn until I find out what the closing price was. Was it here or was it there?
Yep.
So I know that I'm going to get rid of the 10th price bar and I'm going to add the new price dot wherever it closes. So my question is, given the last 9 bars, how far down does the price have to go so that the new regression line prints below that level?
You have to go down the distance between the first the minus 10 to the minus 9, right?
So it has to take these 9 closes plus wherever this thing closes in order to make the new endpoint print below that line. And then that would be the signal that the jump stop should be activated because the R10 print. Well, if I know that, as soon as it hits that threshold, that's where my stop should be.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out, I know there's a way to do that. Anyway,
Mhm. There is. It's just math.
yeah, once I get that math done, I don't have to wait for the bar to close and say, oh, price closed down here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as a monkey, I would just probably say whatever the peak of the RL10 was anyway,
Yeah.
if I'm just going to have an R10 trailing stop anyway, I'm never going to lose more than that anyway on a good move.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
so does it actually matter? So anyway, I'm trying to, now my brother would say, and he's probably not wrong. If we did a SMA3 of the RL10 and called that the baby dragon,
Yeah.
that's probably okay. Right?
Yeah.
Because you're the last three dots, and that's probably the elegant solution. If those were the last three dots of the baby dragon or of the RL10, that's the SMA3 done. So
That sounds an elegant solution.
yeah, so
Well, yeah.
as soon as as soon as the RL10 hits that, I don't know. I think it was he saw that as the closing of the jaws. What happens? The
Yeah.
RL10 will do this and then start to decay,
Yeah.
and the 3-period simple moving average of that, and you get this coming together. You get this and this, and that sort of is the signal, and then that's the signal. Get out, and then I'll tell you, by that time, by the time this happens anyway, the skin of the dragon is here.
Yep.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Skin of the dragon. What is this? What is the purpose of your skin anyway? To keep the bad stuff out, but let the good things through.
Mhm.
That's why I kind of like. I'm actually, if this was actually a really good move, then that's why I'm thinking that's a potential short
Yeah. That's true.
because, and the reason is that the peak of the RL10 is the smallest. That's the smallest execution risk box you'd ever seen. And I actually
Exactly.
don't mind. I don't care how many times I get minus 0.1 losses. If that's going to be my re-entry anyway, why not get short there?
Yeah.
Because that might be 0.1 of the position sizing risk. Like if I use a frog box just as my big fat position sizing risk, no matter what. Sometimes, so imagine this thing is rolled up, and I anchor the top of the frog box to the peak of the RL10. And let's suppose that I got short here at the PSAR dot. And this was the lower skin of the dragon and the spine of the dragon and the skin of the dragon. I mean, remember from the top of this peak, the next trade is only going to go as far as it goes. How far it goes has nothing to do with where I got in. It has everything to do with when the buyers and sellers dry up. In this case, when the sellers dry up.
True.
So if I can get short here, this is the price that makes me stop and reverse. So I have the smallest amount of risk. That might be a 0.1 risk. And if I can get short here, no, I'm going to wait for it to touch the skin of the dragon, cross the spine of the dragon, cross the lower skin of the dragon, hit the PSAR -1. No matter where I enter inside here, no matter where I enter, it's only going to go as far as it goes until the sellers disappear and the buyers, and what they're going to do is they run over into here and then they become buyers and then up they go.
Yep.
So the sooner I can just get in, screw it. Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
it quickly reverses. So what? -0.1. I wasn't going to be
That's it.
right
Yeah.
anyway. I
Yeah.
I expect to be wrong anyway. Every time I take that entry short, I emotionally feel a full -1. And then if I only take a -0.1, psychologically, I made 0.9.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
avoided 0.9. I actually feel smarter by failing more often at 0.1. And you get to do that 3 times
Yeah.
compared to entering down here for the same loss of dollars. I mean, what the hell?
I totally understand because that's the problem. One of the issues I have, especially in chop,
Yeah.
you wait for the pizza to flip. You're so far, your wrist box has grown big, and those guys can
Yeah.
really, well, it has killed me. When I
Yeah.
don't know if I've been able, maybe this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one is not
The
so
only
bad.
the reason that on my stack of symbols,
Yeah.
if I have this stuff over here, and all the whole AI complex and all that shit,
Yeah.
International Paper, Caterpillar,
Yeah.
McDonald's, Coca-Cola. Do you think all the groovy kids are trading that?
Yeah.
No, no. Everybody's chasing the names.
Yeah. So see that right there, Ken. This one. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
you see, you are talking about getting in
yeah.
here, and I
And
would
that's
break
like, yeah,
even.
yeah,
But if I
break
get
even.
in there, I'm
No,
getting killed like
they
this.
gave me a free lottery ticket. I
Yeah,
scratched it up and didn't win anything. Didn't cost me anything. That's what free means.
yeah. And I think it will help it actually will improve the results, because these
Yeah.
these are not trivial. I mean, they look small, but these kind of moves where they reverse quite quickly normally takes
They add
out,
up, man. I'm telling you.
yeah. And
Like,
like if I continue here, I would have got I don't think I can make it back unless I catch this move somewhere
yeah.
here.
So watch while this happens.
Yeah.
Here's the window. If I just start working backwards from the skin of the dragon, that's the available move,
Yeah.
the excess move, if you will. And then over here on this one, I end up drawing these colors like this all the time as I'm studying my own work.
Yeah, this is not getting that. You
Yeah.
see, but with my rule set though,
Yeah, but see, I don't see an entry in here necessarily.
exactly. Okay, that's good because if I just
Because, well, where's your exit?
exactly,
So
it's
if
not.
I'm here,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't, if my R10 is the minimum manageable risk box,
yeah,
I can't even enter.
yeah. That's no 2 to 1, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's this.
Yeah,
I have to move that far off of the flip. Because this is noise
Yeah. Okay,
until
that's good.
it, you see what I mean? Because I still think I can get two. And this is uncanny.
Yeah.
And this is why when you look at my average wins and all that over the large data sets,
Yeah.
if I can see that, I'll get in here and hope for two. I can see two, but I'll settle for one.
Yeah. One is good.
Yeah.
One is excellent.
But
Seriously.
but I'm not gonna. So what Damien is doing, he's driving me. No, I'm not gonna say he's driving me nuts because we're recording this.
I know you.
Driving me nuts. Driving
We
me
can
nuts.
talk offline. I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
He's capping this right here.
Right.
He's got a 0.7 win rate, and he's exiting one, and he's not honoring his 1 hour stop. So when that fails, he's taken -4, but he's because he wants to cash a win and trade, he's winning one. So we can't do that.
No.
We gotta cut that on the histogram. We gotta draw that. We got nothing worse than -1. Positive expectancy between -1 and +2, with the possibility of a fat right tail. If you always cut it off on the near side of this hill, you never get to see how tall the hill is. When you see, skin of the dragon.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's starting to stall is key. And just from a practical standpoint, if I get long here on this little bump, and if that's my entry, and I say, look, here is my average win, and here's average +1 SD. As soon as I get to that threshold, I'm alerted by my own performance that this is an abnormal gain. Anything above this level, if that's my entry, this is my on winning trades. That's the max normal gain. You see that?
Mhm.
So this is when I'm in my happiest state. The RL10 is positive, and I am above my maximum normal gain. Now, as soon as that rolls over, jump stop out. Of course, this one probably triggered us here.
So jump stop is either a skin
I
or
go to the
a
skin. Go to the skin.
skin. Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
then plus those other two things, like you said, like if you see the dragon horns,
Yeah. Too bar
cut
low
that
or
in
something.
half and just
Okay.
like
Yeah.
here's how here, there's the first dragon horn, and it comes back to here,
Yep.
and then it does this, and I see that, and I'm below the previous bar's close, out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or
Other
not
one.
later than this.
Yeah. Okay.
But that could have been the amazing bar. So I just,
Yeah.
what's half of that? Every time,
Yeah.
like on the front end of that. So I'm doing this. As soon as I see that,
Yeah. Okay.
Bob Gardner used to call that the elephant bar.
Yeah. Oh man. Sometimes you get those in 4X. And I'm sitting there at
Yeah.
the left,
So
gnashing
let's
my
say this
gritting
thing,
my
let's
teeth,
say it closed here. So it
Yeah,
opened here,
yeah,
did that and came here. Elephant bar, stop here. And now it opens. Hey, if it goes higher, happy.
yeah,
If it doesn't get above the high of the elephant bar, opens and starts failing,
yeah,
out.
yeah.
But if you gave back all of this, oh man, that hurts. And
That's about,
and
man.
so if this was the skin of the dragon,
Yeah, yeah,
your 2 bar low is better than the skin of the dragon, but that's the big fish that got away.
yeah.
And here's the grind. Suffering with the
Uh,
PSAR. And here was the first hope. 1, 2, higher low, higher high, expanding range. Here they come. Let's go.
yeah,
Elephant bar. This is joy.
yeah.
How
You don't want
pessimistic.
that to turn into despair when you give all that up, man.
Yeah, if you did this, man,
I've been there,
here's
man.
despair.
I've been
So
there.
I'll take the half joy,
Yeah, yeah, for
take
sure.
a half joy exit.
Okay, excellent. I got,
So
yeah,
part of this is this. You have
yeah,
enough data now. And so you got these different rule sets. You have this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. And hopefully each one is making incremental improvements. But you always want to know what that average win plus an SD, let's call that the max normal gain, so that you can set the boundary between normal and abnormal, so that once it starts behaving like that, you are on the psychologically, you are past, you are at the point already of preserve, strike, right? Because you move past the threshold of average and average plus 1 SD, you're into abnormal gains, and you want that fat right tail. The only way you get that fat right tail is exiting beyond the limit of average plus 1. Unless you get an exit out here that you let an above average, above normal gain come back into the normal gains. So the only way to move that bar to the right is I got to take some of these excess gains. The more excess gains I have, then my average plus 1 SD starts moving to the right. I start normalizing that behavior. And I start moving that's how I increase my territory on the right-hand side of that fat curve. Like that's currently the average and then average plus 1. And then I take 3 or 4 good trades out here. That extra volatility now moves the average. It moves the average a little bit to the right, and it moves average and it increases the standard deviation. So I'm starting to move the threshold of maximum normal gains to the right. And that's what you want. You're stretching the fat right tail. And then the mountain will slowly move over to the right. But what you want to do is move the fence post, the boundary of your normal behavior, to the right.
okay. No, that's great. Can I ask you a couple of things if you
Sure.
finish with this? This is fantastic. This is really great, and I think there's some things that you've said that's kind of prompted, and then this answers my questions. By the way, that was what I
Yeah.
had when
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Same
coming
here.
in, especially the jump stop and then
Yeah.
all that. So while we're there, when we're talking about average win, so what R should I be using? Um, Let me just see if I've got it back here.
I think
I've
as
used a number
yeah,
and a number
yeah,
of R's and whether
yeah.
it's execution risk box. I
Yeah,
can't
let me see
I
what you got
find it
here.
very difficult to do what you did. Like you say, this is the execution risk and this is the position risk.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, real time, it's hard for me to
I
kind of
want you
work
to
that
have
out.
yeah, I want you to start from the top down and pick here's what I want you to do.
Yeah,
Start with the size of the average range over the time period of interest. Let's pretend it's a day trade.
right.
Uh, Take the average range divided by 3
So the average range
of the last 30 days.
of the last 30 days and use that as a risk box.
Yeah,
Okay.
make that your risk box.
Oh
And
yeah, I've
then
got that.
don't care about precision on 2 to 1 and all that because you have
Yeah,
really wide because we're trying to tweak the size of our entry. It's my execution risk box is going to be one of those.
yeah.
And because that's my position sizing, but that's 1.0, you've got 2 of those just on an average. Remember, average plus 1 standard deviation. The range stat is up here. I'm just saying take that, divide it by 3 for the last 30 days and keep that all week.
As what? As a position size,
Yeah,
but not
yeah,
as an execution risk box.
right. The execution risk box is where your
Whatever.
execution signal is.
Yeah.
The execution risk box is simply wherever you got in compared to the signal that gets you out. So that's going to float around.
Yeah.
And just don't like if it has moved a third of the range already off the low of the day, you got to be concerned that maybe I missed a move.
Yeah.
Because if I enter here and my average range, it's almost like the way the range stat works. But if my average range is up here, my average range will be there. That's plus 1 SD. That's the frog box, 1 extra frog box to get you to the range stat.
Yeah.
But if I don't have 2/3 of the average range in front of me, it has to be one of those days where it gets up to the range stat to give me 2 to 1. Now, your risk box is going to be smaller
Yes.
based on the particular tactics of what's going on at each of the turning points. But this is a constant. And you could still take the entry here
Okay.
with your risk way down here, but your exit rules will end up getting you out before you ever even got down there, is my belief.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I think
And then
I'm okay with
you
that. Yeah.
still have, and if this was the average range divided by 3, you could still have mathematical rationality that there's 2/3 of the move reasonably available.
Okay.
And
Yep.
then you just
Okay.
you calculate that at the start of the week, and then just keep that as 1R.
Okay. So that'll be
And
the R I
and
measure
see
it
it
against.
Yeah, and see if that simplifies your thinking.
Okay,
I think it
I'll
will.
try that. Okay. Yeah, no,
Because
I need a kind of standard R to measure all this against.
yeah,
Otherwise, you
because
know,
that separates the reward in your
yeah,
mind,
yeah,
a very relaxed measure of reasonable reward, but it makes you very precise with your risk mind about how do I reduce the size of the risk box for entry. The
yeah,
closer I get my entry to the signal that gets me out, not only does it reduce the absolute R loss, it gives me the remainder of the move to the first third of the range, right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
because my potential move was here, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, and I know that if I get in here, I still have 2/3 of the move ahead of me. But if I can get in down here, I'm not only going to take a smaller loss, but I've given myself the easier money when it does work and moves in average range.
yeah, yeah, definitely for
Yeah.
sure.
So just by getting in a little earlier,
Yeah.
I'm shifting the reward to the actual reward to risk in my direction.
Oh, definitely. I don't know. I want to try that, but I want to change my parameters
Yeah.
one at a time. So I'm testing the right thing. I'm almost doing this as a science project, like I'm testing a system test.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I move what I always change one thing at a time.
Yep.
So it doesn't
Yep.
really help because
Yeah.
I think that still the market type or whatever it
Yeah.
is still
Yeah. But
plays a part.
you have enough data from that last batch of trades that you could march that rule set through there.
Yeah.
And we're not curve
I have.
fitting. We're not curve fitting.
No, no, exactly.
We're rule adjusting. We're
Yeah.
smoothing.
Yeah. All right. So that's great. So that was my result. And Tesla, when I tested it, actually turned out quite positive.
Yeah. I
Even
mean,
you
we're
know,
only moving in the direction of it could even be better. So if you
yeah,
think about these rule sets
yeah,
conceptually and keep the science project in mind, each
yeah,
version
yeah. That's exactly what I want to do, Ken, because I want to just
1.0,
do it systematically.
1.1,
Yeah,
1.2,
yeah,
1.3. This, by
yeah.
the way, today's session is the argument for why one-to-one coaching is valuable.
It totally is.
Yeah, because you and I would
Totally.
not make other people suffer through this
Yeah. Mm.
because we don't want to make them, yeah, we just don't want them to suffer.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way to go.
Hey, that ain't bad.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the number. That's the number of trades.
Okay,
And
so
this is
number
this
trades
is the
and
R. This is my R based on an R10.
yeah,
Well, it's a normalized R10. So
yeah,
if the risk box is ever bigger than an R10, that will be R. But
yeah,
anything that's
exactly.
smaller, R10
Correct.
is R10.
Correct.
You know, that's how I do that thing. It's easy for me.
Yeah,
And
and
this one,
this is why the sum of the execution risk when the R box is large,
yeah,
but the
below. Yeah,
execution risk, you're catching all the little uh extra little pieces quickly starts adding up.
yeah. So that looks good on Tesla. It doesn't look so good on GBP, and I think it's because of a lot of chop in the recent
And I
big.
think it's if you go from 3 minutes out to 5 minutes, and it may be 10 and it may be 15.
Okay,
I think that's what uh Brian Lancaster is doing. He's doing some forex pairs, but he's also doing XAU USD. That's the gold
okay, yeah,
versus the dollar.
yeah.
And he's doing the pound GP versus USD versus
Right.
euro. And at times he's doing the Aussie. So he's got about 4 or 5, and he takes any of those pairs, like the pound dollar, the pound euro. He does the Kiwi dollar,
Where is he based?
Australia.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
the
you
other thing,
keep that mindset, though,
yeah,
that
okay.
incremental steps, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. And that's all it is. I mean, I'm just taking my time
Yeah.
in a way. I'm not in a rush because
Yeah.
I find that there's stuff that I learned a few years ago from other things. And I suddenly
Yeah.
realized that it's taken 2 years for it
It
for
has
me
to
to
sink in.
understand it. So I'm not in rushing.
Well, thinking like a farmer,
Yeah.
we got my soil and I have my pond. So I have a pond here. I got a river that feeds it. We got to get when the water seeps in, the water table. And when you drill a well, this is the surface. When I drill my well, all this deep learning, here's the water level in the well. You got to lower that bucket. It can be dry up in here,
Mm.
but it's where the water table is. And deep learning ends up raising this level. That's your intuitions and experience. When I draw on your chart, it puts a little tag with my name on it, and I can't always see what I'm drawing right away. It's a
All
little
right.
weird. Anyway,
I like that. How are you doing that?
oh yeah,
What's
if
this?
you go up to now you're sharing the screen, but I go up to view at the top of my screen, it has view.
Yeah.
And if I click view, it says underneath that pull down, it'll say annotate.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
so
cool,
so
man.
I can annotate your chart. Now
Right.
you can annotate your chart if you go on the yeah, if you hit view, let's see, since I'm the host, but
I don't know
you're
if you
able
can
to
see.
annotate. I
Yeah.
think you can. There's
I can
probably on
I
one of the
can I
menu.
can see annotate up here.
Yeah, then you should be able to annotate too.
All right. But
Try
you're
give that a
using
try.
a tablet, right? You're using a writing tablet.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just I have a
yeah.
little 4x6 writing tablet with
Yeah,
instead
no, that's useful.
instead
Yeah.
of the
But
mouse. Oh, the mouse would
yeah,
cost
yeah, the
me more.
mouse you can't. I mean,
This is $30 at Amazon.
really,
Yeah, it's
that's
called
not
the X
expensive.
Pen.
X Pen.
X Pen.
Ooh, I might get that. It's useful for things
You
like
want a
this where
four by
you can just
six.
draw.
You
Yeah,
can get them bigger, but you don't. Only if you were an artist and you needed some precision.
yeah.
3x5 I tried is too small.
Okay.
Four by
Cool.
six is the right size.
Awesome. That's really good.
One time I spent $800 on a 26-inch monitor.
Right.
The same guys, I think they also make monitors, and so
Yeah.
that I could just draw right on the monitor. And the thing was heavy. It's huge.
Yeah.
Drives my wife nuts. It's about 4 times thicker than a regular, and it's like 3 years old, so I don't even use it.
Oh,
It's a
man.
paperweight. But I just found, yeah, this little 4x6, that's the best $30 I ever spent.
Yeah, it's not expensive. Hey, Ken, I know you got to go, but just quickly, the one
Yeah.
thing I want to talk about.
No,
You
let's
you
keep
you
going.
you
So
you
we're good.
talked about it earlier when you say, "Oh, there's no entry." I don't know where it was. The other chart you look at said there's
Oh
no
yeah, yeah,
entry down
yeah.
here. So that's part of my issue because what I was like dogmatically following your rule. You said that every pizza flip just enter. So I
Oh
did
yeah.
that, and sometimes it's like this one. It's not. It's
That's why I want you to listen to the Thursday night session too, because when I was
Okay, we'll
talking
talk
with
about that
Hamad,
next.
when I was
Okay.
talking with Hamad,
Okay. I'll look for it.
it was
It's in,
and
yeah.
on his let's see, where's my pen?
Oh yeah, you got black on probably
Yeah,
something like
stupid. Yeah,
that.
drawing black. I don't know
Something.
what that. So um when you have this a little compression zone,
Yeah.
then you get a breakout, then the Z3 lines will go like this until they roll over. And this Z3 line will initially get wide and then it'll catch up. So in the direction that price is moving, when that Z3 line rolls over and when the R10 rolls over, end of trend. Now what you're going to get is the reversion to the mean trade. So the middle of that river is right here, and it's slow to recover. I mean, it'll never be this. It's always going to be in like that. Right?
Yeah.
And then from here on, it's the reversion to the mean, and you're going to get the compression like this.
Yeah. And that's when I don't want to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
trading. I
So
want,
what I would just say is, look, you want the Z3 lines after this thing crests and you had your fun.
yeah.
Wait for the Z3 lines to pinch less than a frog box. That gives you the Z3 pinch. Now I can play a breakout of the Z3 line
Off the Z.
with
So
my
it's got to,
with my stop at the Bollinger Band main, half the channel. So yeah, so the frog box, I should have drawn that in blue, right? So here's the frog box. That's green, it's not blue. Sorry.
frog box is average plus
One,
one standard deviation.
it's no,
One?
it is the standard
0.7?
deviation of average. And it takes about 4 of those for a range stat. You know, the same number that you're using to keep it simple for the average range divided
Yep.
by 3.
Yeah, no, I got it somewhere. I've got it
Yeah.
all coded up somewhere. So
Yeah.
tell me.
Yeah. I just, figure that out and then put
Yeah,
a,
yeah, okay. No worries. Yeah. Yeah.
and then if you're using that as your risk box, make the Z3 lines come inside that. And then there's your Bollinger Band mean. And then when you start getting these little, now I can buy this one. A
So you're
breakout
saying
of the,
so the yellow line here is the Z3 line. So you're
yeah,
saying the frog box would be
yeah.
no, no.
If this was the frog box right here, or the average range plus 3, but frog box or average range divided by 3.
Okay. And then the
Then you
Z3.
could take
Yeah.
this short or this long. Like I would have tried.
So I would have gone short
I
there.
would have tried that short and watch this.
Okay.
Fake
Okay.
one,
Okay.
fake one,
Yep. Wait, one go two, yeah.
go
No,
2.
it doesn't go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that
And
helps.
then
That
there's
helps
my
because
exit.
yeah, yeah.
And now I don't I don't know if this was, that still looks like maybe that's wider than a frog box, but maybe I might have tried that short cut, go long. And now that Z3 line, wherever it was the maximum pinch,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
and there's
So
your
you use
exit at
that
the skin.
as a level.
There's your exit at the skin of the dragon.
Yeah, yeah,
Then
okay,
there's
yeah,
your entry long, and
yeah.
then there's your cut. There's your second position. R10
Okay.
wiggle that holds.
Yeah.
That's either a second position or a re-entry. Bingo.
Yeah. Now that's out of there already, so you can see that that's kind of moving.
Yeah.
But it's in this whole area in here that
And as
I
this
would
starts,
avoid.
this Z3 line's rolled over.
Yeah, yeah,
This is probably wider than a frog box. You wouldn't even, I, you know, after this move and it comes back, I'm always fire. After a successful move, I'm taking the shots. But when it starts chopping,
yeah.
make the Z3 lines come inside the frog box and then play the breakout of the Z3 lines.
Okay, so avoid all this stuff here.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. That's where the crocodiles live.
Okay, that helps a lot, Ken, because these kind of things always kills my
And then
numbers.
I'm always looking for these visuals. And there's my little dragon.
Yeah.
Man, I want to get long here so bad. And even if you just, that's okay. But I want to get long there so bad.
I need to
That's the
think
move
about
that
that. There
that's
must be
the
a,
move that gets your attention.
oh yeah, that's a new
This and then the double. So this is why I say those turning points,
yeah,
those sharp, pointy spears, you have this
yeah,
here, here. Now, instead of going to here, it starts reversing. That means the next test is right here. If that gets through this price level, off we go. So watch this.
yeah.
One,
This one is difficult though. I mean,
two,
you don't want
three.
to go long there because that kills you. Really.
Right. Where you get long,
Is down somewhere here if you're bold enough
right
or
here,
wait.
right here. Watch this. Peak of
Yeah,
the dragon or peak of the RL10. Right there, where you had it marked.
yeah. But not right there. Not right there.
Right. Well, my point is, yeah, you see this, you see
But
one,
yeah,
you see this sharp point is two, you see this one is higher, three. So the pattern is one, I'm sorry,
yeah,
one, two, three, and it's a higher low,
yeah.
and the R10 reversed. And there's where it went through the skin of the dragon. It
Yeah,
left the
maybe, yeah.
dragon. I
Yeah.
mean, any one of those three levels,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
your stop is here. So any one of
Yeah.
these levels works as an entry. This one is that's the emerging dragon. That's your kata 2.
Yeah.
This is the skin of the dragon. So maybe that's too fast. Maybe that's too slow. This is just right.
Yeah.
And
How do
then
you avoid getting long at two though, like this part?
what
Because
if
the
you
piece
do?
not flipped there.
So what if you do?
You got to exit. I don't know if I exited here. That's like heck of a. That's how much is
This is
that?
I look at this, say I get long here,
Yeah.
more likely here, because that's minus one. I just get long there.
Yeah.
Stop, stop.
Okay.
This thing goes like this. This is supposed to go. As soon as that rolls over,
Yeah.
F.
That's
Got
it.
it.
Get out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. The RL10, so I can actually get out
Yeah.
whatever my exit was, like a
Yeah.
spine or something somewhere
Yeah.
here
And
probably.
then
Yeah.
it comes down here and holds. Now I'm waiting
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah. Okay.
It reverses higher than this one. Then Hulk smash. I get a re-entry here, which is I'm entering where I got short or where I exited. So now as soon as it gets back to my previous entry, I'm flat for the day because that loss is now offset by this gain. And then it just gets back to the here. That's all good.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. All right.
Makes sense?
Oh, fantastic.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know that I can change my rule set to that, but I
Well, you got a
understand.
month to work on it, so there you
That's true. I gotta do my reps first on the next change and all that, but that's no
go.
good.
Well,
It's all
here's
good.
another way to do it. If you
Yeah.
just say, I want the kata 2, like if this does this and comes here and say, I want the kata 2, that means I'm not going to take the SSC.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or take the SSC, cut it. You expected it to lose anyway. It did
Yeah.
not give you a collapsing dragon. So you get the kata 2. And then that gives you another and another.
Yeah. That I would take. I would be more willing to take the risk if I didn't have all this stuff here.
Yeah.
Because by this time I'm already. I don't know. I didn't take all this, but
Yeah.
by this time
Yeah,
I'm
that'll
already.
wear you out. I mean, that stuff will wear you
Yeah.
out. You
The
gotta,
the will, it just
yeah,
it's
but you got to also remember too. This was an important, the philosophical point the other day was this tactical noise. You got to start cultivating the uh, zero state by climbing the mountain and resting up here so you can just watch the mortals fighting it out down in here. So this you have to that distance allows you to disassociate the emotional cost.
yeah.
And then when this thing narrows into the Z3 lines have pinched, and then the frog box is in here, now I can start taking the breakouts again.
Yeah.
While this is going on, I've disassociated from the emotional cost of that, and I'm waiting to see what I want to see,
Mhm.
which is either going to be a Z3 pinch or it's going to give me a kata 2. One of those things is going to happen. And if I don't get that first trade, that just means that's the harsh winter. That's the price that tells me the Civil War is over and somebody was a decisive winner. So give him that one.
Yeah.
And then wait to see the kata 2 or take the SSC if you must. Take the SSC and the kata 2s and just follow the damn moves.
Yeah. Okay.
Take the
Okay.
hits.
Great. Yeah.
The
Thanks,
secret, I
man.
think, is being disassociated and living on the mountaintop
Well,
for
that's exactly right. That's my reason
serenely,
here. Yeah.
philosophically, you know.
I think that you addressed my feeling here, which I put down here is if I decide to follow the rules rigidly, like take every pizza flip,
Yeah.
then
And
you
it's
kind
not
of
every
lose,
PSAR flip.
huh?
It's the PSAR flips that meet the other criteria. Like
Yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah,
SSC is a PSAR flip, sure,
yeah,
but it was
yeah,
only after it was a harsh winter. That
yeah,
means it's in play.
yeah,
That's why the PSAR flip is significant. Now, using the RL10 for the PSAR flips minimizes the number of false signals, but there's still some false signals in the middle of Crocodile River.
yeah.
But this was like, hey, this was a harsh summer. That thing is in play. So now the PSAR flip says, the reversal could be big. Oh, the reversal was bigger than the first one. Now now this one is in play. It's still in play. It's in play from the upside. It's in
Yep,
play from the downside. And now the third leg was larger than the second leg, which was larger than the first leg. So this
yeah.
thing actually went from a tiny little compression to leg 1, leg 2 was bigger, leg 3 was bigger still.
I know.
It's it's the abnormal move tells you in play. If you wait to see the first move to be in play, you give them that one. What you're betting is that the second leg
Hmm.
is going to be close to the size of the first leg.
Yep.
It might even be larger. And if it's larger than the first one, you have hooked into a whale because either this is going to be huge or it's going to be huge. And you just let price pull you along.
Okay, awesome. That's really great. Thanks.
That should give you
Yeah,
enough to
that's a
think
lot.
about for a month
Yeah, a
or
lot to think
sooner.
about.
Or sooner. If you get in sooner, then like I said, you just give me a heads up.
Yeah, no worries. I'll definitely do that.
but not
I
not
think
not less frequently than monthly.
yeah, okay. No, I'll do my best.
Okay,
I'll do my best. There's a lot here, and I'll try and pick the ones to incorporate in my rule set and keep doing that.
sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
Yep,
Appreciate it.
yep. Ciao.
Take care. Yeah.